Hello, thanks for joining us this evening. Welcome back to the Weekly Word Outdoor Adventures. Today we are on the Starr Mountain Hiking Trail, about 2 miles in from the upper trailhead. Etowah, Tennessee's back off behind us across the Conasauga Valley here. Beautiful views along this trail. You can see Resolute Forest Products, Johns Manville, J.M. Huber, and Watts Bar Nuclear Plant, Etowah, Tennessee, and lots of other things. If you just sit there on some of these ledgy rocks and stare off into space. The Cumberland Plateau over on the other side of the Tennessee Valley. We've brought you to a special place here today because I want to show you this, specifically this red rock right here. This is there's some signs here that says the property boundary for the U.S. Forest Service Land Survey Monument. And this rock has probably been here a really long time. I'm sure it's repainted from time to time. Here's the old survey stake even that's been there for a while. But what this rock is, I believe, is the very tip of Monroe County, Tennessee. There's lines on the red paint going off through the woods this way, and lines on the trees, red paint going off this way. And sometime when you look at the map, maybe when you're watching the weather forecast in the evenings, you'll notice that the southwest part of Monroe County, Tennessee, makes a perfect little triangle tip. And I believe that this is the tip of that tip right here on the Starr Mountain Hiking Trail. If that's so, then I could say I'm standing in McMinn County right here. McMinn County was formed in 1819 to be exact. These other two counties I think were similarly close. So that mark has been defined there for over 200 years probably. This left foot would be in McMinn County, and this right foot would be in Polk County. And if I did just a little bit of twister here, I could move right over here. Now I'd have 1 foot in McMinn County and 1 foot in Monroe County. There's 3 counties right here in this one spot. Now, you notice me say if I'm correct a couple times because for years, the trail crew at the Forest Service, we've thought this was that tip, but in the last year or so, there's been a little bit of debate about it because there's another one of those metal posts up the trail here a 1/4 mile or so, and we thought, well, maybe that's the tip, but I'm pretty certain, there's a debate about it, that this is it because you can see the lines going off in the triangle right here. But to be absolutely sure, well, we'd have to have a surveyor with special equipment that says that this one or is that one right up there, the very tip. Because these invisible lines that are all over our land is, you have to have special equipment. But this guy with the special equipment, the surveyor, he could put you right on that line. Now, it's kind of interesting that we live in this world full of invisible lines, and even though they're invisible, completely something that we cannot see or touch or anything, but we believe that they're real. In other words, if you go down to the edge of your property, you've got an invisible line that separates your property from your neighbor's property. We know they're real, and they'll stand up in the court of law even. There's invisible lines in the spiritual world too, or maybe I should say maybe there's just one in the spiritual world. Either you're on the Lord's side or you're on the devil's side. You're either in the kingdom of God or you're in the kingdom of darkness. And there's a very well defined line that we can't always see who's on which side, but you know what, the Lord can, and I think the devil can too. He knows who's on his side and who's on the Lord's side too. They can instantly look at us and tell who's in which kingdom, and there's only 2. There's not any third kingdom. It's either you're in the Lord's your father or the devil's your father. If you want some Bible for that, John 8:44, Jesus told those Pharisees that were operating so well for the devil, he said, you are of your father the devil, for he's a liar, and he's been a liar since the beginning. He's a murderer, and they had murder in their hearts. But there's definitely a line. Which side are you on? That well-defined line is based on what you've done with Calvary's cross. I hope you're in the kingdom of God. If you're on the wrong side, go to the cross today and get on the right side. See you next week for another weekly word. We'll find someplace else out to be an adventure.